Hello, Pisces. I hope all is well. I knew there was something wet. Whoa, that's really wet. Oh. That's what hands and pant legs are for. I'm having my humidifiers just going everywhere. My apologies. Okay. And I'm wet too. I just got out of the bath. Like, Pisces is water. It's like perfect. It's like water is on the table and water is still all over me. So Pisces, this is definitely your energy. Take what resonates, obviously, and leave the rest. I'm not responsible for anybody. This is just collective energy. I like to say that's used for advice, tricky scenarios, dealing with people, dealing with your past. And if it fits, it fits. I can't say that this is for everybody, but I'm hoping you get something. So here we go, Pisces. I'm going to get the theme of the reading for you. Okay, we got oldies but goodies, 911 emergency. And let's see if we can get a third. That's way too much. Actually, no, it's not. Okay, so we got oldies but goodies, 911 emergency. We got bridge. We've got accidents. We've got the big cancer. And we've got on. Something is very much on. So, like, somebody should take a bow, because what I'm hearing they did was so nasty that they're only going to be sorry because they got caught. That's it. I'm not going to tell you what song it is because I absolutely hate this artist to a fucking T, and I'm not going to say that person on my channel, but I know this for a fact that somebody should take a fucking bow for how awesome they played their character. So what I'm getting somebody from the past that you were connected to, all right, from the looks of it, is going to have a really bad accident. And it's kind of like the as above, so below. Like, this has been brewing for a really long time. This isn't just somebody gets mad, gets cut off, and gets into an accident. Like this, I almost feel like this accident is orchestrated. This accident is so on, it's on like Donkey Kong to get this person out of the way. All right, so yeah, just give me a little bit about the situation. A little bit that makes sense. So we got the Emperor in reverse here. I feel like that's the person that's going down. We also have the Hierophant. They could be married. Okay, they also, I just heard, could be widowed. We've got the Three of Wands here. The thing is to believe that this accident can happen is basically believing in infinity, and infinity actually really does exist. I really don't think that there is an end to anything, you know what I mean? Everything is kind of long living. Even when a plant dies, it goes into something else. The energy of it can't sustain anymore, so it goes into something else, whether it goes into the ground, where it goes into an animal, where it goes into a human, right? Everything everywhere always continues. Right? It goes on and on and on. And I feel like, this person, lied. Okay. And they are 100% not a team player. Okay. They do not believe truly in working with a team, which is why obviously this person was married and now they're not. Obviously, not to say that they got a divorce because they're stubborn or they don't believe in a team, but I do believe that the Hierophant in reverse, it's like there's some type of wisdom they didn't gain, right? There's something that they should have seen the bigger picture, which is this big Cancer. They should have saw the bigger picture of what they were doing with this lying, okay? And I think what the universe is kind of saying is, well, you didn't want to work with a team, so what makes you think the universe is going to work with you, right? It's like this person wants their cake and they want to be able to eat it too. They want it sitting there, but they want to eat it too. It's like this person's demands are not feasible. They're not doable. They're over demanding something, which is why this is going to be a hard end. All right. This is going to be a really hard end. This accident is going to be a hard end. And I believe that this connection goes beyond, right? This isn't just some connection with a person. Well, you know, like, honestly, I got to go fucking full-fledged, full force, full into it. Like, if this is an Emperor in reverse with the goodies and oldies, this was could be somebody that you lived with. Okay, it's somebody that you felt stable with. And I do believe that I don't really think that they're going to be protected anymore. You know, and this brings me to this time where I was in high school, right? My sister had already moved out. I think my sister had just moved out. I think I was like 15 or 16 or something like that. I was in high school. Actually, I think I was between 16 and 17, actually, probably 17. I had spares in the morning. So there were some days where I could sleep in, right? I was term, so I was like every other. I wasn't semester, so I got the same schedule all year, which was kind of awesome, right? And so I got to sleep in every other day. And I didn't have to be at school until like 10 o'clock or something. And I was always like, I had this weird, very weird relationship with my stepfather my whole life. I was always scared of him, always kind of 2 feet away from him, but yet always wanted to be his best friend. He was a fairly decent stepfather. Like, he didn't intervene with my sister and I whatsoever, but he was a pedophile. So I had, once I was like 14 or 15, I started getting this different fear in him. Like he started seeing me as a woman, and it started turning him on. And I would wear certain things, and he would make comments about how my body looked, like right in front of my mother. And my mother would always hit him or smack him and go like, "Oh, Craig, shut up. Don't say things like that." But she knew that, like, he had an attraction towards me. And this one morning I was sleeping in, and I heard him yelling upstairs. And he didn't know my schedule, so there's no way that he knew I was at home. Right? And I always knew that. He never knew when I was at home. He was like the vice president of a company, so he fucking never went in either. He was like 65 years old at the time. He was old. And I was getting ready for school, and I ignored him. I ignored him for about 20 minutes because I didn't give a fuck about him. Like, there was something about him. Like, I didn't know at the time that he had molested me at the surface, but inside my body was reacting to so many things that he was doing that my body said, don't go up there. Who gives a shit if he's yelling? He's a grown-ass man. The phone is right there. He can fucking call 911 if there's an emergency himself, right? And the screams up there started getting louder and louder. And I'm like, okay. So I was going to creep out of the house. But his room was right at the front door, right? So as I was putting on my shoes, I was trying to put on my shoes so quietly. And I remember thinking, like, fuck, I got to go to the kitchen. I have to, like, get food before I go to school. Like, what the fuck? And he heard me. Somehow he heard me, and he screamed down at me to call 911. That something was wrong with him. And I went, fuck. And I was 16 years old. I had no idea why I was reacting this way. And it turns out he got rushed to the hospital. And if he had a move to actually get up and move around to call 911, he would have died because his appendix was about to burst. And because he was so old and it was so infected, he barely made it to the hospital. Like, he barely made it into surgery. But I saved him. I saved him. And I figured that out recently. Like, you son of a bitch, I saved your life. And you can't even tell my parents the truth of what you did to me. You can't even tell anybody what you're going to sit there that fucking smug. But it was because he was the boss. He was the guy everybody loved. He was Mr. Suit. He was Mr. Money. Everybody just gave him respect for his credentials, and that's it. Right? And I remember thinking, this is going to come around one day. Like, I swear to fucking God, if I'm on my deathbed and you don't come, like, I thought it was going to turn around that way. Like if I was laying on the side of the road dying, that he better fucking get there and save my life. No, I feel it's going to be the other way around. Now he lives in like some rural fucking hick town with like nobody really around, and I don't even think they've got a legit hospital for like hundreds of miles. So I feel like that's what's going to happen to him. I feel like he's 80 years old now, and I think something's going to happen to him, and he's not going to be able to get to where he needs to go because he thinks he's going to live forever. And I think he hates himself so much that he wants to die anyways. But that situation came into my head, and I feel like this is kind of cracking into this. I feel like somebody that you lived with, I mean, you could have saved. That's why it's oldies and goodies. You know, like there were some good times, like you could have saved their life. You could have saved something with them where it comes to this 911. And that's your connection because you kept them here, right? You kept them alive. And it's like, honestly, now it kind of brings me to this part of this movie called Gone Baby Gone. And this private investigator walks in on a pedophile who's just killed a child, and he immediately throws up because he sees what this guy has done to this child, and he shoots him in the head right away. Like, no hesitation. He can't even listen to that guy try to explain why he just molested that child. He had to shoot him in the head. And I feel like if I ever saw my stepfather again, if I wasn't so good the way that I am now, I would have shot him in the head. Like, I would have taken a gun to his face. And I know that, and I know that he had to be thousands and thousands of miles away from me for a reason. My mother moved him on the other side of the country when I was about 25, 26, and that's where my life started really going down the drain. Like, I knew something was wrong with me, and she moved him right away. Like, she moved him out of there knowing that she wanted to protect him way more than she ever wanted to protect me, right? And, like, the thing is that when you hide things inside of you, right? When people hide things of what they've done and they hide these lies, right? Those lies are going to come up, and those lies are what's going to be what causes them that accident. Those lies are going to be what the universe says in the end, you don't deserve this. You lied. You lied in the face of something that instead of killing you, killed them. Instead of hurting you, it hurt somebody else. Right? And now I'm thinking of this like murder mystery that I'm watching, which is actually in real life. It's called the Killings of Bayeux. And it's about these 8 women who were killed over the course of like 5 or 6 years. And they've never found the killer, even though they know who the killer is. It's very obvious when you watch it who the killer is or who the killers are. But people of high authority that say that are sheriffs or judges or people who have the effect on other people's lives, even parents, when they lie in behalf of somebody else and they use that authority to abuse, right? Knowing that nobody is going to question them because they're the ones that are supposedly telling the truth. I believe that what happens with those people, okay, is on a scale of 1 to 10, I believe is probably some of the worst karma that you'll ever have to endure. Because then it's almost like I feel like these people are going to have to walk a lifetime where nobody's ever going to believe a word they say. They're going to be so corrupted. They're going to be so gaslighted. They're going to be so messed with that people are going to even ask, are you even here? Because I don't really even see you. Do you exist? You know, like those people, I mean, they might not get it in this lifetime. They may not get it in the next lifetime, but I know they're going to get it. And that's where victims stand up, knowing that there has to be a justice. There has to be. Because when you face something that's so disgusting with somebody else whose life was on the line and they fucked you and you saved them, I mean, you can think of a million excuses that that person can say. You can be like, they can say this and they can say that, but in the end, it all comes down to the truth. And even the greatest liars are going to have to fess up because their soul knows everything they did. Their soul is not corrupt. Their soul is not vindictive, right? Your soul is something that comes here. It's very pure, right? It's very innocent. It's very pure. And the things that get inflicted on the body and on the spirit and on the soul happen through other people, right? And if people take those roles and they abuse them, then the gun gets turned on them. We just don't know when, because energy has to shift, it has to change. People have free will, they're allowed to do whatever they want, and they take that very seriously, right? Especially authority figures, they figure that because they're in that role, they're allowed to do whatever they want. They can take the law into their own hands. They can do what they want, and that's, very unfortunate. And that's where it's just kind of like, you've got to step back, because you can throw a lot of hate and you can be angry with a lot of things every day, or you can push by it and go, well, if there's nothing I can do about it, I just hope that I don't ever got to deal with it, right? Like, it's just one of those things that some people can be so corrupt and turn their back on you. But just remember, if you didn't turn your back on them, even with the worst of the worst, do you really, really honestly think that you're going to get punished? I don't think you are. So anyways, Pisces, I hope this hits home. See ya.